and welcome today to Celebrity Customer Experience, episode 58, with me, Jill Raff, where we riff on anything and everything employee to customer experience related, why it's called Riffs with Jill Raff. I believe that your business will actually increase their revenue due to engaging both loyal and committed employees and customers. Because I am sure, I am convinced, I am obsessed with the idea of great employee experience, creating great customer experience. And of course, it begins in the inside. That's why my framework is called the Inside Out Framework when I work with clients, because it has to start inside, at home, at the top. So today's episode is going to be a little bit different. Normally on Thursdays, I have a guest. And today is going to be a bit different. Finding people's schedules has been challenging to align things up. So I wanted to today just have you and I connect, for us to speak. So I invite you, to enjoy this time together, to join in the conversation with me by commenting. When you comment live, then I can see your comments and bring you into the conversation. And there's Jeremy. Hey, Jeremy, thank you so much for joining me today. It's going to be so much more fun when I have someone like you and others joining me. So today, as I was saying, is going to be a little bit different because of just not having someone aligned in the right scheduling, the right time. But it's actually refreshing because it's giving me an opportunity to just be with you and to talk about something that's so important, and that's about compassion. And it actually starts, as I said, it starts in the inside, right? It starts at home, and it's starting right now with me. Because sometimes we just need to take that deep breath. There's just been so much going on, and I am definitely my worst critic. I am probably the most demanding and have the highest expectations of myself. So I felt really disappointed and hated to let down anyone, since my regular show on Thursdays now, as of 2021, has a guest. And like Jeremy was once my guest, which was awesome. And I really enjoy speaking with him. And I love the interviews and the conversations with other people, but it just didn't work out this week with multiple factors. And instead of beating myself up, which is what I first started to do, because I didn't want to let any of my viewers down. I feel committed to y'all. I want to serve you. I want to give you great information that's going to help you. And so I decided to stop beating myself up and give myself a little compassion and just say, it didn't work out, but there's still great information that we can talk about, that I can share. And today it's about compassion. So again, it starts with giving ourselves compassion. And then let's think about, how does that apply in the workplace? So it's very pertinent and very much critical and crucial, especially I think today. There's just so much going on. So what about compassion in the workplace? Is this something that you see happening? Do you feel compassion from your leaders right now, with the year that we're just coming off of and businesses opening up again? People are dealing with a lot of emotional turmoil and even physical turmoil that, of course, our emotions display and exhibit themselves through the physical manifestation. So there's a lot going on, and there's a lot for leadership to take care of, well beyond all of the things that they needed to handle and to lead and to address within their workforce, even before COVID and the pandemic and the shutdown across the world. So are we seeing it in the workplace? Are we giving ourselves in the workplace compassion to just do what needs to be done, to take that time and address whatever it is? And are we seeing it from our leadership? Are you seeing your leaders exhibit and give compassion to you? Is compassion being given to each other in the workplace? I mean, we all have to work together as a team. And, I believe that when you create a culture within your company where you really show that you appreciate your employees' choice for doing business with you in the same manner that you should honor your customers, your end customers for doing business with you, you have to look inside and say, our employees are just like our customers. They have decided, they made a decision to come work for us over someone else. And are we showing them compassion? Are we showing them appreciation for those choices? Are we showing them, you know what? We have gratitude, and we need to give you a bit of grace. We need to give you a little bit of leeway with everything going on. Are we doing that to each other? We need to support each other in this work family environment. And when you do that, when you create the culture within that shows you really care and that you have the compassion for each other, for both leadership, it works both ways, right? I am a strong component that everything flows both ways. Yes, it has to start at the top, because if the top doesn't buy in and agree, it's never going to happen within the company. But my leadership model goes both ways. And if any leader, exec, C-suite thinks that they know it all and they're not listening to their staff, to their employees, to the front line, that's a disaster waiting to happen. Your frontline employees are the ones interacting with your customers directly. So they are your richest source of information for what your customers want, what they don't like, how they respond to what it is, the service or product that you're offering. So I do believe that it's a real give and take, and we need to ask. And we need to know what's going on, both the employees and the customers. And think about it, people complain about customers and sometimes even fellow employees. They may just be having a really bad day. We don't know what people bring with them to work. But I believe that it is the job of leadership to know what is going on with those employees so that you can give compassion, so that you can meet them where they are and help support them and bring them up if they need, give them a bit of humanity. Honestly, this comes down to really humanizing the experience that we have in the workplace. And I think, if nothing else, that is what the pandemic has taught us, that we need to bring humanity into the workplace, where before it was like this, the cogs in the wheel, turning, churning, production. That's all that they cared about, the production and the bottom line. But to get that, you must not approach it as a machine that just works. Yes, the end result of a great culture and a great work family is, in fact, that the all of your pieces, all of your people, all of the strategies, the processes, the your operating procedures are so set and systematized and so smooth, and that you're in touch with your people element. The end result to your end customer is that it feels like a well-oiled machine, that this all happens actually in the background. So it's transparent that they are having this great experience, but they don't need to see the reasons why. That's the good work that's being done in the background. And that's the work that I so enjoy doing with my clients, because I'm able to help them with those systems, those strategies, the people element, creating that culture, stopping the turnover, the churn, and help improve retention. So I think in order to do this, we have to be having those conversations with our people internally. We need to ask the questions. We need to ask and really then be quiet and listen to what they have to say, and to create that environment within your company that is a safe place. A safe place. If you have not created an environment where your employees don't feel there'll be retribution, some sort of kickback, some sort of retaliation by them expressing their true, honest feeling, then you don't have a safe space, and you will never have a culture of a supportive, collaborative team. So first and foremost, work to create that environment in your business. And once you have that and people feel that it's a safe space for them to express what's going on, and that they feel that compassion from you, then of course things are going to flourish. So I want to just say, think about even the typical questions, right? The how, the what, the when, the where, and the why. So what is it that's going on with that? So do we ask, how do we ask, and how do we show care? Do we show care by, even without asking the questions? Do we show care in our actions, in our activities, in our the things that we do and say every day? How are we showing that compassion to people within our workforce and to our customers? What is it? What does it look like? What are we doing to solve the problem that's being presented, so that whatever it is going on, we can make sure that we are looking at what is happening. We're dealing with the what, and how we're addressing that. So when, right? So when is the next question? When is it appropriate to say something? When is it appropriate to ask those questions? And of course, it's how we ask the question, the words we choose, the tone that we have, the body language that we use. All of those things are part of EI, the emotional intelligence that is needed so much in today's marketplace. And these things are addressed in my E3 formula. My E3 formula says that we need to not just train our people, but we educate them, times engage with them, times entrust. And when you do all of that, it will equal happy, loyal employees. And we all know happy, loyal employees, of course, will result in happy, loyal customers. So it's bringing in that EI, the EQ, also known as emotional quotient, really bringing in the humanity of that. So the next one, right? How, what, when, where. So I believe that the where is, of course, in your workplace, but also in their personal lives. Not that we need to dive deep into every single person's deep personal life. But one of the things that made my father such an amazing owner, leader, manager, and I hear it to this day, almost 27 years later after his death. I'm speaking to people who worked for him, and it brings such warmth and joy to me and my life to know that all these years later, my father is known for the change that he made in people's lives because he asked about them personally. So I want to encourage you to take that step, to really ask personal questions about to your staff, about their family, get to know people's names, what they're doing. Someone I just spoke to, actually, I haven't spoken to them yet. I'm going to be interviewing them, but we've been exchanging emails. And he said, your father made me realize that every time, made me realize the importance of how he cared about me. And again, it goes back to, right, like what and how we show it. He would always ask about my children, and he would ask about them by their names. And he would say, oh yeah, so David's off in college now. How does he like school and what's going on? Like, he knew personal things about them. And he said it made him stop to realize, oh my gosh, like, I'm so busy in my life. Sometimes I forget about these details. And here is my leader, my manager, the owner, my boss, and he's asking about those things personally. So I want to encourage you, when we talk about the where does it happen? It's in the business environment, but it's okay to also go to that personal place. In fact, I would encourage you to do so. And why? The why is the simple part that I love the most. It's because we're all human. We all have the same concerns, the all same needs, the worries. And today, more than ever, we all need compassion and more love in our lives. This world right now is just so frenetic, and so many changes and so much going on. We need to be our best friend. We need to give compassion to ourselves, as I started out with, and we need to give compassion and love to others and recognize at the end of the day, we all want to know that someone cares and that we're loved and someone understands what we're going through. That's a part of what compassion means. We understand what you're going through. And in the workplace, employees want to know that their leaders understand what they're going through. And at every level, there's someone above and below in the list of the task scale, right? I don't mean that someone's necessarily better than the other, but you understand what I mean, right? In the hierarchy of the company and who does what job. But nevertheless, at the end of the day, it is horizontal. It's not this vertical drive. And that's the key thing, is that owners, leadership, executive management, when they understand that when you have a horizontal management, when you have a horizontal leadership and model for your company where everyone's voice matters, where everyone feels that they've been educated and what's important to the company, when they feel they have been engaged with every person at every level of that company. And then when they feel that they have been entrusted and empowered to make choices and decisions on their own and throughout their daily work environment and with the customers, then you're going to see the change happen. People will feel that compassion for themselves personally. And when you touch someone personally, when you touch their emotions, that is when you're going to have a true connection. You know, I say that interactions create relationships, and real relationships, playing off the word relationship, real relationships creates connection. And I mean human to human connection, one to one, person to person, not connections like who we know in a way to better ourselves personally or professionally. Connection singularly. So interactions creates relationships. Real relationships creates connection. And connection equals profit. And of course, if you've heard my previous live streams or followed my post, you know that for me, when I say profit, it means financial and personal. So we all profit in the grand scale. We are profiting financially within the company because of the great productivity, because of the great work that's being done, that's being felt by each going on when you have that emotional connection. And personally, when we all know and feel the compassion and feel that connection to each other, then of course you're going to profit and feel better personally as well. So, you know, some of the questions that I ask when I interview people is, you know, what are some of the pressing problems that we're seeing in the workplace now and in the companies? And it is the idea of really needing to connect human to human. And when we do that, that's when I think those problems that we're addressing, a lot of those will start to soften. Another question I ask is, you know, what are some of the consequences we're seeing within the organizations because of these struggles that we're having, because of the struggles has been placed upon us, so to speak, due to COVID and due to the pandemic? I think we need to learn from this. And one of the things that I think we have learned is that every business, and what is a business after all? It's made up of people. Our greatest asset in any company, in any organization, is your human asset, your human capital, your humanity is your greatest asset. And I think COVID highlighted this, that we have no business if we don't have employees to deliver that service or product. People are like, well, we need customers. We'd have no business if we have customers. You're right. We have no business unless we have customers, and we need to show them that we appreciate them and that we're compassionate when they have a need that needs to be solved and they come to us for that solution. But let's face it, you can have customers But if you don't have employees who are aligned with your business, who can represent who you are, what you stand for, your company's core values, vision, and mission, if you don't have employees that are solid with that, that are empowered and trusted to convey that to your customer, guess what? You can have customers, but you won't have them for very long because you don't have great employees to support you and represent you to assist those customers. So again, it's why I feel so strongly that we start from the inside out. And that's why I work as an EX to CX expert, speaking, consulting, coaching, training, workshop facilitation. It starts from the inside. The framework, my proprietary framework is called the Inside Out Framework. And so, yes, it has to start from the inside, and we have to think first about EX. So internally, when we deliver great EX, when we create an outstanding employee experience, then we go to customer experience. It will naturally flow from that. And lastly, one of the questions that I ask my guests, and since it's just me today, is, how is this affecting productivity, engagement, and the results in your company? Well, it seems pretty clear that we've learned from COVID that if we do not show compassion to our people, to both our employees first, and then, of course, to our customers, we will lose those customers and we will lose the employees. So you can forget about any sort of, we talk about productivity and engagement and results. If we're not showing compassion within, if we're not humanizing our company, then you won't have to worry about those things because your business won't succeed for very long. And so lastly, some of the things that I talk about are, I ask, what are some of the things that your companies can implement right now? I always want you to have a takeaway and that you can get results quickly. And it really is simple. I think hopefully you've taken from this episode, when we show compassion, when we relate person to person, to our staff, to everyone who works for representing a company, and to our customers, that is when you're going to see the results happen. That is when you're going to see things change. So greet them, ask for their name in the process comfortably, naturally, and use their name. People love hearing their names. It's been said, as you probably heard this quote, that a person's name is the most beautiful sound to them in their own language. So use their name. Smile. Smile. It takes less muscles to smile than it does to frown. I swear. And it's reciprocal. You're going to see when you smile, someone feels that great energy and they're going to smile back. They're going to automatically feel more connected to you. And it's that human to human connection that really matters. Smile. Ask them, use their name. Ask them, how can I serve you? What do you need? How can I help you? I'm here to make your experience better, simpler, faster, less friction points. Ask those questions and do it in a personal way. Oh my gosh, I want you to come back and tell me your results because I know they will be huge. So those are just some really simple to quick takeaways. And people may say, oh yeah, it's something we know already. So many things in customer experience are so common sense. Yes, they are common sense, but common sense does not mean that it's common practice. I'm going to say that again. It's really important. Common sense does not necessarily mean it's common practice. And if it were common practice, we wouldn't be seeing so much turnover within a company. We wouldn't be seeing so much turnover with our customers, that we don't have that customer retention, the repeat customers that we need. So I want us to really think about, what are we putting into practice? Take these things, which may seem simple and like common sense, and apply them and watch the change that will happen. So, talking about this, speaking about turnover, customer turnover, I want to put something on the screen here, a gift that I want to offer everyone, and it's my employee churn cost calculator. So I think part of the problem is a lot of businesses don't fully understand the cost of not relating to their people, not prioritizing their employees, not showing them compassion, not showing them that you care and that they matter and that they are the ones that make your business successful. They are. Recognize it and let them know. So go to my website, jillraff.com/employee churn cost calculator, each hyphenated employee hyphen churn hyphen cost hyphen calculator. It's up on the screen. You can also find it under, if you hover under services on my website, jillraff.com. When you hover over services, you'll see a drop down and you'll see the calculator will come up. That will give you a true indication. You put in your own numbers, the number of staff that you have, what you pay them, all of those things, you will see that directly and you will be able to see really what the cost is for you. So I welcome you to go to that to that calculator on the website and look to see what that is that's costing you. And I think you will be shocked and you'll recognize how important it is that we stop the turnover, the churn. We stop churning out our employees. We stop making butter. Instead, we build a business where we appreciate our people. That's what matters most. And that's what happens when you have compassion. So thank you today for spending this time with just me. And I look forward to your comments and your thoughts. And I'm going to just give you now also how you can reach me. There's my website address. You can find, again, the calculator under the services tab, or reach out to me directly. There's my email address, jill@jillraff.com. Thank you so much for joining. And next week, I am working on whether or not we're going to change the date. I will hope to be traveling, and we're going to see what happens. I'm going to pre-record some sessions for you so we make sure every week we still deliver some great content, some great thought-provoking ideas, new things for you to think about. I hope you found value in this. We will let you know if we end up changing that day and time so that I can air that from you from where I will be, or whether or not we'll be able to continue the same one. But stay tuned next week and more great guests. And thank you again. And I just want to leave you with this. Have compassion for yourself today. I needed to have that compassion for me. And I'm glad that I opened up and shared with you that, I don't always have it together. None of us does. There are moving factors, moving pieces all the time, and many factors that go into what we do. But the key is I did not want to not show up. And the key is to always show up and show up at the best you can and have compassion for yourself and for others. Show that human element. That will be the differentiator in our businesses and in our lives. I really believe it. It will bring the stress level down, lower the blood pressure. And when we're all healthier, which that will make us healthier, we'll be able to be better for ourselves, for our families, for our work families, and those around us, as well as for our customers. So thank you so much today for joining, and I look forward to speaking with you next week. And take care, and remember, make those great connections. I wish you wonderful interactions, wonderful relationships, and genuine connections with those that you surround yourself with day in, day out. Thank you.